Most of the time, backups are taken by an automated process, usually a SQL agent job. There are times when you will need to take an ad hoc backup. One situation might be when you have just installed SQL Backup and you want to make sure that all the permissions for the startup account are in place. It's also a good way to become familiar with the options that you'll need to know once you create scheduled backups. There are many options available for SQL Backup, so I'll spend more time later explaining several of them. To get started, right-click the server name and select Backup. You can also right-click a specific database name as well. That way, the database will be automatically selected for you when you run the Backup Wizard. You can see the server, but if it's not the right one, you can change it here. If you've saved a template from a previous ad hoc backup, you can select it here. Templates are also useful for creating scheduled jobs. You'll select the database you want to back up, and you can either select the ones you want, or in the case where you just want to exclude one or two of them, switch to exclude and select the ones you don't want. I'll leave the backup type at full. You can learn more about the backup types by watching the backup type video in this module. I'll click Next to configure the backup file settings. The backup folder properties come from the server settings, but can be changed here for this individual backup if necessary. In this case, the files will always have a timestamp, so the names will be different, but if they're going to be the same, then you need to check this to overwrite the old file. You can also delete existing backup files when they age out. You can delete them before the backup job starts if you wish, but remember though that the old file will be gone even if the current backup fails. The backup file can be copied to cloud storage by clicking Link Account and selecting the service and then filling in the properties. For now, I'll exit out of that. I'll click Next. And there are several options on this page that I'm going to skip for now and cover later. The only thing I'm going to change on this page is the resiliency setting so that it only tries after 10 seconds and just 2 times. I'll click Next. Checksum adds a value to each page and everything must add up correctly in the file. The checksum is only checked if you also select Verify. And Verify sounds really great, but it only makes sure that the file is readable. It doesn't check for database corruption. And I'll talk more about that later in the course. There's one more thing to note. Both of these options will add time for this ad hoc backup job to run. The checksum will make the backup take a little bit longer, and the Verify option will make this dialog at the end take longer, so keep that in mind. You can also send an email, if you wish, for errors or warnings, or for any outcome. I'll click Next, and here's the summary that you can review. Here's where you have the option of saving a template file for use later that retains all the settings that were just chosen. You can run the backup now, or you can copy a script. You have 2 choices, the extended stored procedure or the command line command. For now, I'll click Finish. The backup is running. And after the backup completes, you can see information about the backup, such as the compression. And in a few seconds, it will show up on the timeline.